From the Indie Lounge, I'm Alisha Sweeney, back for another session, and it's a good one. We welcome a Denver artist that is a self-described explosive multi-hyphenate, and I can attest to that. He is a singer, songwriter, producer, dancer, model, actor, and just an overall inspiration to me with his musicianship. And he was also just named our #1 artist of 2022 in the local 303 as voted on by you. His name is N3ptune. I'm so glad to have him in our studio for the very first time. Welcome.
Hi. Here with my day one, Rusty Steve.
You brought Rusty Steve, your right-hand man, your bestie in life, your producer, your guitarist.
Man, does a lot of shit. Man, designs, he has fashion. He just came out with coats.
Well, thank you so much for being here. You guys brought along a DJ, Johnny, who's also going to be joining you for your song performances.
Average Johnny, who ain't never average.
You're gonna play some songs for us, including a brand new one. Stick around for that. We're also going to be talking about what life was like on the road, opening up for Sleigh Bells. Some of your memorable live performances here in Colorado, including playing at a Nuggets halftime game.
Yeah.
And we'll also be talking about the record Renaissance and its new revival. But first, let's start off with a song. What are you going to play for us?
This first one, such an introduction. I love the song so much. It's definitely one that he kind of made sure got done because I was running from the song for the longest. This first song is Wedlock.
I got the itch my father couldn't resist.
I got that itch.
I felt his power and I knew ever since. I got the rage my mama couldn't restrain. No luck with mental, she's never been the same.
Never been.
I'm a Wedlock, baby. Was a preacher man who still needs
saving.
I'm a bastard child. This lying, we ain't talking.
So living life with no home, never had a childhood. Take that everywhere I go. Living with a dead name, bit it off as insane. Prison in a household that was black sheep. Yeah, I've always been a one of a kind. Fighting my whole life for a spot in the light, for the spotlight in his wife.
I got
that itch. I knew ever since. I got the rage my mama couldn't restrain.
She's never been. I'm a Wedlock. A man who still needs
about me every Sunday at school when I had to harbor all your secrets. But damn it, I'm in mom, so all your business is mine. And mama's still gonna be alone. Daddy's never coming home. And mama's still gonna be alone. Daddy's never coming home. I hear him already, he dissing his mama, he dissing his daddy. I'm simply saying, fuck you niggas is lacking. I took y'all advice and that shit ain't suffice. Tell them both to get at me. Pressing in church, and I'm pressing in church. Foot in your throat, I don't care if it hurt. You niggas was talking shit before my birth. Got me acting a fool and I'm ready to that these bitches ain't loving, they miss me. With your stinking ass so fishy. I ain't breaking no bread with you sissy. Work hard at your energy, snitchy, that shit made me itchy. Fuck every diggin' that got something to say. You fucked on the choir director, you gay. Fuck every messy happy in the pew with a thing, I'm gonna clear your ass to this day. Y'all really ran it up about a child. You grinning, you laughing, you smile in my face. Hooping and hollering, preparing for heaven when all your black asses got some hell to pay. That's how you clear, that's how you clear. Be myself clear, that's how you clear. Bitch, I'm what you fear, I'm what you fear, I'm what you fear. You are the fear. Past this kid was a hell of a trick. Dancing for dolls, but down in her. Sister Green shit to deal with her trauma. Turn out she a narcissist. Oh my gosh, she gon' be pissed. They Negroes gon' have a fit. She don't like it when I speak outside the box in the matrix. You put this in simulation. If your book make any sense. Read you left, right, up and down, girl, watch your mouth and clear the
someone had to put their foot on the steady talking out your rear, but you scared to wash your ass. I come from a one-parent home, why I couldn't step into my own. But now I'm on TV airwaves, the magazines talking about how I'm black and I'm grown. Nigga, I'm grown. Oh, I know you mad. Oh, I know you mad. Yeah.
N3ptune on Indie 102.3 from our performance studio, the artist that you voted the #1 Colorado musician in 2022. We are so excited to celebrate you and your music in the studio. That was your song Wedlock, which is the song that kicks off your album Renaissance, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you were talking about how it was a tough one to put together. Why'd you put it up first?
It sounded such like an introduction as opposed to like what else we had. It's such a statement kind of song. It was just, I mean, anytime I got the itch my father couldn't resist. Mm-hmm. I was like, what? What the fuck is that? It's just the way, I think the pacing of the song as well. It was a nice way to usher in what it was, and even just the switch ups in the song and how the tone switch from the singing as opposed to the rapping. And the Renaissance as a whole was very black and white. That was actually the whole reason why everything was black and white to begin with. It wasn't just, oh yeah, black and white. I mean, one, black and white, because black and white is fucking iconic, but am I able to cuss?
You are now.
It'll get bleeped.
The most bleeped artist interview in Indie 102.3 history. You're hearing it here now.
You're hearing this shit today. It was just, I mean, black and white is fucking iconic, but at the same time, like, it was truly like you have your highs, you have your lows, but they exist together so well that it made sense for it to be the first song. And I think it was the first time a more wider audience, I think getting to know us and then getting to know me. So it was just like, okay, well then let's start from jump. Mm-hmm. It's the origins.
It is the origins. I feel like I learned a lot about you when I put on Renaissance and got to know the album well. Well, let's talk about you guys. How did y'all meet? Are you lifelong friends? I just remember.
We end up being lifelong.
Yeah, no, definitely.
The older we get, it's gonna be lifelong.
Yeah.
It's true, but what's the genesis of your musicianship together or friendship?
Well, we met at Link's Denver. It was like a summer music camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was 16 and N3ptune was 17. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Older and wiser.
Yeah, for a little bit. No, but yeah, I remember we were like putting a group together early on in the camp, and yeah, I remember N3ptune just like had his computer and like his hood up and was just, like headphones and was just making like a beat on his computer, and he was wearing platforms as always. But yeah, we actually wrote a song together at that camp.
That song is so good.
Yeah, with a few other people. We also performed together at that camp. Yeah.
Like twice.
Twice? Shit, yeah.
Because we did that song. Because the season 1 winner of The Voice was there, and he had like evaluate, like he was doing like watching everybody perform. So he like,
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, he like gave like his critique. He really like, he didn't have many critiques. He just like really liked the song. He was more so telling everybody, now this is what you want to do.
Because did we perform C-Show?
Yeah.
And then we did that like just guitar and vocal thing. Okay.
Did that light a fire under you to get some feedback from a season 1 winner of The Voice?
The whole time I was at the camp, I wanted both. I went 2 years, so I wanted more critiques. I didn't get many critiques while I was at the camp because they were just like, "Wow!" the whole time. So,
yeah.
I mean, just to hear, hearing that, the song was so well written, and then it was just arranged very well, and knowing that we literally sat in the studio and had fun, we sectioned ourselves off, and just like went in. The song was literally about a seashell. But you wouldn't know. Mm-hmm. So it was really cool. I forget that happens sometimes, but then like when I think about the camp and I talk about the camp, that always comes to the front of my frontal lobe.
So it's been about 7 years since you guys were teenagers meeting at that camp out then. Well, let's fast forward to now, December of 2021, you released your debut full-length record called Renaissance. And I always like to point out it was before Beyonce announced that she was going to release an album called Renaissance. And you were doing the horse thing and the black and white thing. It's like you almost somehow inspired Beyonce in some way to kind of copy your vibe.
Yeah, I remember Neptune, before we were like gonna release it, kept saying like a Renaissance is coming. Like, and he wanted to name it that. Like,
I would just say it for the longest before I was just like, that's the name. I was just like, I had it. I was like, I'm gonna wait. But I knew it was it's fucking Roaring 20s. I've been saying it's a Renaissance for the past couple of years, but in terms of like when we got to working on this, I was like, I'll just keep it in the back of my mind and I'll wait to say something. Look, I took Beyonce's notes for Renaissance, so look, you can hear it all in Wedlock, honestly. And just the vocal production, I definitely take her motherfucking notes.
Well, I like to call Neptune Denver's answer to Beyonce. So you just released... So just now, January 30th, 2023, so a couple years later, you've now released Renaissance, but you're calling it Renaissance the Revival because on these 8 tracks, you've gotten musicians to collaborate with you? Is that?
Yes.
Yeah, tell me more.
I think we had more songs. It's great strategy, but it's such a great record. It made sense to put it out again, and because we wrote it out for like an entire album cycle. I mean, like you started like, if it came out in December, we wrote it for like a whole year. So it made sense to, put it back out. The Revival, where it actually came from, our manager, Corey, just like bouncing around different ideas. We're on the phone. I was on the phone with him. I think I was on the way home. And he was like, I was like, it needs a name, something strange. He was like, the Revival. And I was like, that. And it plays into like, there's a lot of gospel vocals all over the place. So it's saying, you go to the revival after church. So it's a revival. It's post. So yeah. Average Johnny, who ain't never average, definitely did a remix on there. I think that's probably one of my like favorites. Absent is my favorite song. So it got 2 remixes. And my sister, Kayla Ray, look, Queen of Denver. She, Queen from Colorado Springs, she jumped on the record and it was just really dope. Tezza Talks out of Seattle jumped on. I had no idea. Corey A&R'd his ass off with that one. I didn't know what she was going to do. And just hearing that record, it just came together just so wonderfully. But yeah, it's a full body of work. That's why we went back and forth for the longest. I was like, this is an EP. He's like, it's an album. I'm like, this is an EP. He's like, technically it's an album. All the way up to the point where Corey was saying, we're going to call it an album. And then he sent me a link. It was like,
it's a short album.
It's an album. And I was like, it's a fucking album. So yeah, it's now a full-length album, different iterations and fully encapsulated. And also a throwback from the past, Paranoid, one of my old songs. We revived that motherfucker and put it on there.
Yeah, it's a great listen. We're going to listen to you guys perform some more songs. Well, what's up next? Tell me the backgrounds on Black Horse. This is one of my favorites.
Oh, goodness. Black Horse, fun fact, I had just got the vaccine, my first shot. We went on the same day. And my God, it knocked me on my ass. So there was points where, like in the day where I was good, and I was like, oh, actually I'm not. I was like laid out on the floor. So like,
was it that day we got the shots that we started it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember we were like around 5 Points getting coffee, and we had White Pony like written.
Oh yeah, that was.
And then we saw this like Porsche, and they have like on the Porsche logo, there's like a black horse.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, we were just like talking about the car because like I'm into cars and like I was like, oh, look at this car, dude. And then, we're like driving back to my house and Neptune's just like in the car, like, Black Horse. And he's just like writing on his phone, like writing all the lyrics to it. And then, we pretty much got like most of the track recorded that day.
before the exhaustion and the sick set in from getting the
Well, we had like started
the COVID shot.
something. We had definitely laid down that chorus that day. Because the first like verse that I had in my mind and I had written down was absolute trash. So we came back. And I think that's when we had ended up getting our shots. And I was like, he was
okay,
like,
that makes sense.
He's like, I mean, we got to record this. I was like, holy fuck. So like you hear me giving like everything I literally have in like really like the beginning of the first verse and the first chord. Like I'm literally doing all I fucking can. Because I was sprawled out for like a couple of
I love the line "Beauty in the jet black hers."
Yeah.
Like I remember hearing that, and I was just like, "It's so good."
I was really just thinking. I was like, "What's like?" I was thinking Michael Jackson "Bad."
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "What's what do you say? What's a statement?"
Yeah.
I didn't realize how pro black the song was at first. I really was just saying like, no, like. I was like, I'm embodying the Renaissance. Like, I am the Renaissance. I am the rebirth. I am the reinvigoration. I am the full embodiment. And then listening to the lyrics more so and just like sitting with the song, I was like, oh yeah. It takes on it has more than just one meaning than I think
originally intended.
Yeah. So, I mean, it took on such a life of its own. But I mean, in terms of, It is the title track of Renaissance. Black horses are signify rebirth, death and rebirth. And so rebirth in French is Renaissance. So Black Horse is the title track of. That's why you hear it on There's a Renaissance on the Rise. It's the first. It's the title track.
There's a renaissance on the rise with black skin and nothing to hide. Riding in, usher in the new, killing the heroes and the ingenues. Ooh, the old dynasty has to fall, yelling war cries and battle calls. No holy water, rosary, finna stop what's coming over me. Yeah. Can you hear it? The cavalry risking it all. I mean, what? No turning back for me. No. Take its course. Black horse dominate with no remorse. Black rebirth, I'ma hit you where it hurts. Black rebirth, I'm the beauty in the jet black hood. Oh baby, won't you? Beret, oh baby, won't you? They had me ostracized. None knew that was prophesied. For the bull, we could see the flies. They told lies that I was demonized. But yeah, something's gotten into me. I'm coming for your industry. Could give a fuck if y'all ain't feeling me. Cause nigga, you can never match the energy. Can you hear it? The cavalry risking it all. I mean war. Fuck it up. Judgment take its course. Black horse dominate with no remorse. Black rebirth, I'm gonna hit you where it hurts. Black rebirth, I'm the beauty in the jet plane hood. Oh baby, won't you? Well, oh baby, won't you? I lower myself so below. Rules that I would never be a bitch, never been your son. Your rap shit ain't never been enough. You got the right word. Let me see you. Put it on up. Give it all you have. Make it out alive, baby, fall in. You better fall in line. You're out your day. Black horse, oh, yeah.
Neptune in our studio. This is Indie 102.3. I'm Alisha Sweeney. We've got Neptune here and Rusty Steve. You're doing some outfit changes for your performance here today. I love it.
I most definitely am. 3 specifically. First season 3.
I love it. I often talk about seeing you on stage as an experience. Like a Neptune show is a full-on production and experience with those costume changes, with beautiful intentions happening on stage, a whole narrative behind you and created by you with your dance.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about, well, you had 2 beautiful performances this summer, one at the Underground Music Showcase and also one at Westward Music Showcase. Which one was your favorite of the 2?
Probably Westward. Yeah, definitely Westward. We had just got off a tour, so we were in our bag.
The show was so good. So I want you to now describe this. And I remember it as a show where you had a narrative going on behind you, and it was almost like a Last Supper kind of table set up, and you were giving people a seat at the table.
Yeah, the whole
Concept?
The concept really was just it's such a middle finger and such a just like a it was, because for the longest, and I think you and I have spoken about it before, just like for the longest, like I was not, my coming up, my like start, I'm really just getting started, but like my start, at least in the city, I was not, you could hear it in Black Horse. I was very much ostracized. I was, it was like a token kind of artist. So I wasn't well received, as I am now. Mm-hmm. So coming into that, like, so quickly of like, nah, not him, to where it's like, oh yeah, like we want you to do this, to where it's like, you can't put the phone down. I was just like, oh, well, let me still show that, like, I have this edge. I'm not everybody's gonna like me. There's still something about me and that like I really want to showcase. It's not always not everybody's gonna like it, and that's fine. Not everything you do or that every artist is gonna do, everybody's gonna like. But I was just like, oh, now I have a seat at the table. Cool. I'm gonna flip that shit over and build my own. I don't necessarily like the popularity contests. Of course in Denver, but just anywhere, you know what I'm saying? The elitism of certain things, a lot of times it leaves certain people out. Because I was one of those people for the longest who nobody, like, oh yeah, you're gonna go far. Oh, you got this. But they just left me out in the wind, you know what I'm saying? It made me a bad bitch, don't get it wrong. But, so I wouldn't take it back. But, got from a different cloth for real. But I think just showcasing that, like, yeah, like, I'm here, we're here, but this isn't the goal. It's to build a table that people like ourselves are welcome at. People who have the wildest ideas. People who are the weirdest of the weird. The people who are the strongest of the strong and seem weak. You know what I'm saying? The people who are like ourselves, who are the outliers. It really is. That's what it was in the statement. I had them in all white because it was just like, need some sort of purity because I'm letting off my rocks. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, it was.
They signified all the people who, the people who will give you a seat at the table, but they don't have the best intentions. They want you for their own gain. So that's what they signified.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was beautifully portrayed. And it's interesting you talking about how not always having a seat at the table, because remember 2 Westward Music Showcases ago, so summer of must have been 2021. It was literally you guys were the opening artist on the furthest to get to stage, mm-hmm. and it was literally me introducing you on stage, and then you were basically playing to me. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah,
that was like,
no, one of our
oh yeah,
and then like to then you going the very next year to headlining the local music stage and closing it out for the festival.
That was nuts.
So.
Yeah.
You
it was a full
seat at the
circle. I
table.
remember just telling him the whole time. I was like, the right people were here. Mm-hmm. The right people were here.
Yeah.
It was a pivot. That was a very, I wholeheartedly know that performance and just nailing that performance in 2021 is the reason why we came back and were able to headline that. I'm always, if I can see people notice, I'm like, all right, that's fine. Certain people are going to see.
Okay, so you've had some pretty cool moments live music-wise as well. Let's talk about another one that happened here in Denver before you play your new song, Shadow, for us. But you performed at a Nuggets game, like the halftime show?
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
Like,
That shit was crazy.
Yeah.
That shit was wild, boy.
I got a
For
seat
real.
at the arena now.
Look, I'm
season
trying to
tickets
tell you
also.
something. That was insane. That was definitely my favorite all time. All time, any show. I don't care what it is. Headliners and no. That. It was the first time like I had to truly work like at my speed for real. So I got to work with the Nuggets dancers and teach them the choreography to Black Horse, and then they in turn they like choreographed around the song. It was nuts. I was learning the choreography they did to the song because I saw it for the first time when we were rehearsing. So I was every time we would like rehearse, I was like getting like performance footage and I like the video of the rehearsals each take. So I like was like looking at the best ones and like doing the choreography, some of the ones that had the best angles. So then by the time it came to the show, I was in line with everybody. There's pyrotechnics, lights, a drum line. I didn't know they were going to be there until that day. I also did not know there were 17,000 people in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know it was going to be like broadcast either. I had like old friends like just like texting me like, yo, I just saw you on TV. And I was just like, what? No one told us it was going to be on TV.
But then everybody was like,
Yeah.
y'all didn't know? I was like, no. Yeah, the running joke was I thought there was only 1,000 people in there, and I was dead serious. Mom was like, 10,000. I was like, no, there's only 1,000 people here. No, you need to multiply that by 10. And shout out to Pause
For real.
for, texting me and being like, hey, like, I want you to come and do this. Pause has been such an inspiration to me for years. I used to promote parties in high school, and he would always DJ them. And I always wanted to perform on stage with Pause, and that was like just such a really dope moment because it was such a full circle moment that my inner child definitely needed. And one of the Nuggets dancers, we went to school together at DSA. So that was such a full circle moment. I wanted her right by my side. I wanted her on my right. So she was on my right, and she was, oh goodness, I love Saida so much. She is, yeah. So it truly was. I got to work at my speed with people who just like have that like work ethic, and it's just a fully like functioning machine of like, yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do it over, make sure everything is perfect. It was, yeah,
Chef's kiss.
very much so.
In an emoji. Was your sister there? And I ask that because I thought your sister was so adorable. You guys shared the sweetest, longest embrace, and you were crying together at your album release show in December of 2021, which was at High Dive. And I just thought it was so special, where it was like, I just felt like a, yo sis, I made it sort of moment. I don't know what your guys' relationship or friendship
yeah.
is like, but was she at the Nuggets game?
She was. Oh, I'm gonna get emotional.
I
no,
was
she
crying
was
during your guys' hug at High Dive.
Yeah, she that's my road dog. That's my day one. That's my twin. So she was there. Rooting me on as sometimes I heard like those videos back, and it was, yeah, it definitely makes me emotional. She was there and just like there for the best. Like, yeah, it was really dope. We like kikied the whole time. She got us like, girl, do you see the sweet? I got you see the sweet. So we was just cutting up, acting up. We hung out afterwards, and yeah, no, it was definitely more like I called her and I was like, what are you doing on this day? She was like, I don't think I'm doing nothing. I very much told her what was going on. She said, it's already taken off.
Yeah.
I shouldn't take the next day. She said, I told you it was taking off. So we good. Aww. No, she was there. That is, if there's somebody who really, I have like such a shared experience in life with, then just, yeah, it's her.
I love hearing that.
Yeah, let me say, listen, I love Jen. Jen J.
Well, I want you guys to get to your new song. You've got a couple more for us. You're going to start it off with Shadow. Tell me about this track.
I'm trying to think.
I could go. I've just been talking. That's why I was like looking at you.
I'm trying to remember like how we like started it. How I remember it starting is like it started with the bass line, and it's just like we were like Neptune loves to sing in F minor, so we, I'm just like on the keyboard like, okay, gotta start on F. So a lot of the song is on F, and then it goes up to the minor third, and then down to the 2, and that's like the whole bass line, like the whole song. So we had that laid down. I use a Moog. We used a Moog Subsequent 25 on it. Yeah, I think had you already had it kind of like the lyrics already written, and then you just kind of threw that over the bass line?
I was up at like 3:25 a.m. Listening to the playlist that I have, like the sonic mood board for just anything we're working on. Like it's nice having just a sonic mood board. That was just this one song that like stood out, and it's just so like ugh. Something that came to my list. I exist with the lights off. It's like, what the hell is that? So I just got to writing. I think I wrote this pretty much the bulk of the song maybe in like 10-15 minutes. And then, of course, as we've worked on the song, I did like some rewriting, restructuring of certain things. Because the in the moment writing is oh God, I love in the moment writing. Even though I'm such a preparation, I worked in studios for the longest, so I'm always like, I gotta come ready. So, no, the song is amazing. It is about really, it's a deep dive into the shadow self. For my spiritual folks out there, you know what I'm talking about. Maybe it's about that shadow work. It's really the side of ourselves that we don't show. It's a place for this. The song truly is a place for you to express your dark side. It is that the ugliest side, and just actually just being it unapologetically. Everybody's so caught up. It kind of really similar to a lot of Renaissance, but had that balance. Whereas like this song more so, it's like lean into it. Quit trying to be perfect for everybody. Social media is, but.
So Neptune giving us his new era with Shadow here in the performance studio.
I cannot confirm nor deny.
I exist with the lights off, dopamine junkie in the high tops. I'm the shadow. I'm the shadow. I keep my mouth shut, no, I don't speak. I keep him up for days and nightmare. Nobody sees. I'm the shadow. I'm the shadow. I come from generation fucked, all the consumption's not enough. Speaking BBL, bad age of the internet. Slut, I come from wounds and from bruises. Come whenever I choose, as long as my addictions fade. Don't kill my time to hear these days. Fail. Fucked over, consumption's not it. I speak in BBL, bad age of the internet. Slut, I come from wounds and from bruises. Come whenever I choose, as long as my addictions fail. Come on! Don't sing, blinded by the light on a dirty little secret cell. I'm a high price point, what the people want. I know how to give it up.
it on repeat. Come on. How far you wanna far down this road? You just let me know. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, lay me down, spread me out. Oh, I'm the I'm a wild thing. Did I bring my mama shame? The shadow you hide. Yeah, 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 yeah. You know my name, babe. You know, yeah, yeah. You know, yeah. I was consuming. Come on, come on. You know my name, babe. I wanna hear you holler. I wanna hear you holler. Oh, shadow, shadow. Friend of mine, one of a kind. You'll see in time the reasons why the powers that be have shown me I am left no choice but to leave you behind. Oh, you must have known. No, 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 no. Eventually, I'd outgrow you. Misery loves company and you look lonely. I see you every day, stranger, you don't know me. Misery loves company and you're alone. Da da da, and I know. Nah, nah. Oh my God, I'm feeling free. Not bound by your chains, constricting me. I think I need a night out on the town, raising hell, wilding out. You must have known. Eventually, I'd outgrow you. Misery loves company and you look lonely. I see you every day, stranger, you don't know me. Misery loves company and you're alone. And the pressure your true nature shows. Careful of the company that you keep. Cutting up without a band-aid on you. The fire is gone now that I'm better without you. Sing it. Do what you do best. You leave me in distress. You like to run and cower in my darkest hour. Abandon me, oh abandon me, yeah abandon me, Lord abandon me, yeah abandon me, yeah abandon me.
Misery Loves Company, as performed by Neptune. In our studio, we also heard the new song, Shadow. This is Indie 1023, and y'all voted him the #1 artist of 2022 for our annual Local 303 listener poll. And you can catch Neptune on March 31st at Bluebird Theater. Get tickets while you can. This will sell out. Also, get his latest release, stream his music online. Neptune, Rusty Steve. Also, shout out to Johnny. Thank you guys so much for coming in today.
Thank you so much for having us, and thank you all for voting.
My name is Alisha Sweeney. Thanks for joining us for another Indie Live session.